Hi guys, good morning, good morning. So we're gonna start our space very soon in like 2 minutes. Just gonna have a moment. All right, let's start. So hi everyone, welcome to ChainIDE's Twitter space. And today we have invited Web3Go to our space today, and also we have our Binance Live on the other hand on Web3Go's account. And today we're going to discuss how data affects developers and users in Web3. Before we start the AMA, I would like to first introduce ChainIDE. So ChainIDE is the world's first cloud-based multi-chain IDE for developers to create dApps on different public blockchains, a developer service platform with full feature tooling, programming instructions for beginners, and we hold a lot of hackathons already and developer events for community, etc. So IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, which is a phrase used to describe a software tool that aids programmers in producing software code quickly by incorporating features like software editing, building, testing, and packaging in a simple use program. It boosts developer productivity. So we have already onboarded like 11 public blockchains, including Ethereum, BNB Chain, Polygon, Aptos, and Flow, and Conflux, etc. They're all supported on our platform on ChainIDE. So now I'm gonna pass the mic to two of our guest members today. One is from Web3Go, and the other one's from ChainIDE. So first, can we please have Ming-Chi to introduce himself?
Yes, for sure. Okay, so Web3Go was officially launched at the end of the 2021. Our team basically consists of a diversity of background. So me personally used to be a quantitative finance analyst on Wall Street. Our CEO used to be in the field of community and AI for many years, and many of the engineers are definitely the expertise on data analyzing and big data framework. So after I think 1 year of the hard work, we raised $4 million USD in seed funds at a valuation of $30 million. So the round was led by the Binance Labs, where Web3Go helps actively developing high-performance streaming-based data processing system. We do that building this traditional framework and doing the indexing and analyzing of the on-chain data. We also develop some other public chains, so which make us compatible to the chains on EVM based or on Rust based chain. For instance, Polkadot substrate parachain. We do have several indexing service working on running on them. Yeah, basically that's the introduction.
Thank you so much, Ming-Chi. And now I'm gonna pass the mic to Ali, our community manager.
Oh, thanks, Sarla. Thanks for having me today. And yeah, I am Ali, community manager at ChainIDE. You have already introduced ChainIDE. I will add some more. At ChainIDE, we build tools and provide educational resources to facilitate developers in Web3. Our main product is ChainIDE and currently supporting more than 10 blockchains, including Ethereum, Polygon, Flow, Conflux. And Web3 developers can visit us at chainide.com and start creating their dApps without installing anything locally on their system. And for newbies, we have built-in templates. They can play with the built-in templates, can start their Web3 journey, blockchain journey. And if they face any issues, they can reach us to our media channels on Twitter, Discord, Telegram. We have all of these. And we have hold hackathons, webinars, seminars in different countries, including Africa, Turkey, Dubai, China. And yeah, we have hold like more than 180 events in more than 185 countries. And ChainIDE is being used in more than 185 countries. We have hold hackathons and more than 200K developers participate in the hackathons, webinars, seminars, and we incubated and supported more than 1,500 projects in collaboration with other friends in Web3 space such as BNB Chain, Polygon, Conflux, Amazon, and some other friends. So our main aim is like a ChainIDE and ChainIDE ecosystem Both it intends to facilitate developers in the Web3 to build something innovative and useful. Thanks, Ella.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Hallie. That's a very detailed introduction. But anyways, we can get back into the discussion. So first question is, how many sites do you think data will affect in the Web3 industry? I'm going to pass the mic to Minchi first to share insights.
All right, so the quick question will be so many to count. Right. Okay. Yeah. But yes, data affects many Web3 industry. For some projects, for instance, like C, I think a long time ago is the only one with ability to display a ERC 721 NFT without registering. Right. If I didn't remember wrong, so it started first and leading this tech. No, of course, right now, if you're looking at other NFT markets, they can also do the same stuff. But what they do is basically indexing everything of the either wrong, and it is or at least it used to be a technical barrier for them. So not every project can, you know, building such stuff. Indexing itself is actually very hard. And we can also concern about security, like money laundering, hacks, money tracking, job qualification checking, identity leaking. I think these all needs to data to step in, and I think there are just too many to mention. So it's not easy to pick up the data like traditional way in the Web3 industry. So because blockchain's natural property to keep itself not easy to sort, not very hard to generate nice and beautiful traditional database. So yeah, I think data is important, and up to usage, it's used to play and still playing a very important role in the Web3 industry projects.
Thank you so much, Minchi. And now, Ali.
Yeah, that is a very good and interesting question. I was thinking about this, like what does data actually tells us and why it is so important. From my point of view, I think data tells us the behavior of users. For example, how many users joined a project, how many users left the project, how much volume traded, and how many transactions happened. So it was very hard to observe, analyze, as our friend mentioned before, directly from the blockchain. But recently, some tools, like some analytics tools, have helped to analyze the data, such as like Web3Go, Footprint Analytics, and Dune. These tools have helped a lot for researchers and developers in Web3 space to like analyze data and make better decisions. So why it is important? I will give you a brief example. Recently, like an NFT marketplace introduced is called Blur, and there are many NFT like other NFT marketplaces also, such as OpenSea, X2, Y2, and Blur adopted like some innovative ideas and gained much attention from the user in Web3 space. And what did OpenSea, what OpenSea did? OpenSea analyzed the data trading volume, like competitor analysis based on the trading volume. And they analyzed like mostly people are joining Blur and leaving OpenSea. So they made some strategies based on the data analysis, and like they set their trading charges to zero. Like it can help us make better decisions in research and development, find gaps, and like once we find gaps, identify opportunities for new applications, then we can introduce something interesting, useful, and can make better decisions. It can help us analyze the market, competitor analysis, risk management. Yeah. So I think these all are the uses of data.
Thank you so much, Ali. You always give us a really full-scale and comprehensive answer. So next, why do you think data is important, and is there any reflection of data effects when you develop your project? Minchi, please share.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, it's very natural to see, like, after so many years of observation, we have secured the safety of the blockchain, and like we said, the mass behind it is solid, right? And people often say like the limitation of the blockchain is its scalability. As you know, layer two, we make ourselves focus on the K rollup right now. Earlier before we're talking about sidechain, we're talking about concepts, innovation concept, like the proof of concept, blah 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 blah. So it's very interesting that if you just looking a little deeper of this topic, when we complain about that the blockchain cannot handle as much data and much transaction as traditional Web2 framework does, for instance, Ethereum or other blockchain, I think 10,000 TPS, that would be a very, very sounds good number, but this is still way lower, maybe 100 times more times compared to Web2 framework scale. Complain about this, yet it is still caused by the data in the blockchain is too big. I'm going to expand this a little bit more. So blockchains need to have the ability to replay the history, right? So dimension of the data is so different. You cannot store everything in snapshot way, because that way will produce too much data. You have every second, every block snapshot. You just give yourself the square amount of the block number of a single stats of your database, right? So you have to apply the transaction during the period of the time from the initial stats of your database, generating 100% stats of the on-chain data, then query in order to get the history data. So you can see how tricky it is when you want to do not only data analysis, but also just let's say general history review. This is just hard. Then people feel easy because right now we have a lot of handy tools, like Etherscan. They just already arrange and sort the data for you. So this is also part of the Web3Go business coverage. We use a stream-based data framework to do so. Truth is, I think in Web3 industry, the data storage or say like assorted usable data storage is so hard if you want to extending the dimension to the history perspective. If we talking about Ethereum or BNB chain, the raw storage is I think 10 TB at least right now, and this is just the raw data we are talking about, because Web3Go had done the indexing for the BNB chain, so we know it's the math is true, right? So I think that, and then when we're thinking about this stuff is stopping us from at least slow developing, right? Slow our innovation. Yeah, blockchain is a new technology, but traditional Web2 is still solid and keep developing, right? We get so much tools accumulated there, and we mentioned AI outside, Chat GPT stuff is being developed so fast, and it's just. If you want to make a combination of these tools, the traditional Web2 tools with the blockchain, the data is a very important place that you need to, have a way to make it a mixture. And I think this is where that necessary to have a place for Web3Go, for projects like Web3Go to step in. Yeah.
Thank you, Rinchi. And Ellie?
Yeah, I also agree data is very helpful. When you develop your project, it can help you have better choice for the project selection, like which category you should choose, NFT, DeFi, marketplace, or some other, and like which chain you should choose. Like historical data can help you make better decisions about your project selection, about the chain selection, and which, for example, if you are making an NFT project, then which NFT trading marketplace you should choose. So I think these all things matters a lot, because the blockchain ecosystem also matters a lot in a project success. Their user base matters greatly, because in the end you are going to sell your project to the users. And you can think just for a while like creating a project on Flow blockchain, Ethereum blockchain, or Definity blockchain. And these all three blockchains have different a number of users. Actually, you can analyze the number of transactions using the historical data. So can make better decisions about like which blockchain you should choose for your project, and which marketplace you should choose. So it can help you have better user base, and the success for your project will be chances for the success of your project will be higher. So with the help of these analytics tools, users can analyze the behavior of other users. Like developers can first analyze the behavior of other users, and then the data can help like a lot to make better decisions. In the end, like every project builder would want to attract more and more users. So I think they can use data, and then it can help in the building, project building.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ellie, for sharing that. And next question is, both Web3Go and ChainIDE focus on building tools for developers and general users in Web3. So have you made any progress on the data level? Or in other words, do you think users can do with data when they build Web3? Minchi can go first, as always.
Okay, so in general, I think Web3Go has finished the stream-based framework. Like we adapt it to every blockchain, and that's actually what we expected to do so. And thanks to this schema, we can guarantee both raw original data and very complex second layer result of data analyze. We can sync it, like speed is close to real time, and we are happy to achieve such goal of the low latency data sync service. And then there comes our recent V2 product. Okay, so I think it will be released in the next few months, and I actually very encourage everybody to use it. Everybody's welcome to use it. So a quick summary is, we get everything, transaction, block, event, even internal transaction. So all database exposed in traditional way. User can come in, set up some SQL, generates a second layer result. Okay, but so far it sounds like okay, looks nice. It's just a normal function, but there comes the fascinating part, right? So this step is actually recursively. Okay, so you build, for instance, a global ERC20 database, then the database will be generated. The next steps can be like, I want to build a monitor service of a list of suspicious address, and then this process can keep going, continue to up layer database or further down to the lower layer database, and just imagine how much stuff you can do when you mixing all those layers of the results. Like as I said, like the data handling of the blockchain is very hard, and just said this is a very much caused by the stream-based framework we have been developing. And I also want to, because I mentioned Etherscan before, like we said, okay, Etherscan kind of store everything for people, and this is what makes Web3 go different from and how we can outperform a company and projects like Etherscan. So if you just store the data in traditional way, you didn't automatically get those kind of recursively perform. You only can get a database, like whatever the original definition of the blockchain have, transaction, block, event, or internal transaction. This definition will be the most you can get for as a database from a database perspective. And people often we didn't want to limit it by here. We hope to have like I said, if we want identity linking, we want security, like money tracking, we want that stuff. We must first build a second layer database, like as I said, a specific global ERC20 tracking database, for instance, maybe NFT, maybe the message of the chatting generated by the blockchain, online transaction, a lot of stuff. Too many purpose. There is no unique way for you to do so, and we just in order the only way you do is by somehow you combine it and make it so you make your system so eligible that you can just generate the result of your database again, and just and this is because the history of the blockchain is so hard to replay. You have to do those math, those kind of hard hash to do so, and it's just very glad that traditional web 2 big data framework can play a very important role in our development. Yeah, so this is the right now the progress we have on the data level. I think it's I'm very thrilled to announce those kind of the new product as it's coming in the next few months. I really encourage people to use it, if just to see what kind of the big frame data work different from the traditional, just the indexing stuff.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Minchi. It's better for all of us to go and check out Web3Go and then go on their website and then do some practical work on there just to get to know it. I will try it as well and reflect back to you guys as well. So thank you, Minchi, for sharing. And now let's pass the mic to Ali for sharing your idea towards this.
Thank you. So there are two questions now, like has ChainIDE made any progress on data level? And the other one is like, is data useful for the builder in Web3? IDE does not deal with the historical blockchain data. We just provide tools. User can create their smart contract, compile and deploy on the blockchain. But we don't provide any tool for the analytics such as like Web3Go. But maybe in the future we can do some collaboration. The other question is like, is data useful for the Web3 developers? So as I already mentioned, the data is very useful for the developers in Web3. It can help them in like different ways for the project selection, chain selection, like marketplaces selection. They can analyze using Web3Go, like which blockchain is the top recently, which NFT marketplace is on top recently, which project category is on top. So they can like choose those blockchain which are top because the user base will be higher. And the NFT marketplace is also like, for example, if I gonna build some NFT marketplace or a metaverse project, I will check all the projects like metaverse projects that are existing. I will analyze them using Web3Go or some other analytics tools. And like I will make a comparison. So yeah, I think the data is very useful for the builders in Web3. The first step is analysis, like analyzing the data, then choose the project category, and then move on. I think that is like matters a lot on a project success.
Thank you so much, Hallie, for sharing. And next, so it is time for us to focus more on the on-chain data. So because data always tells us what's truly happening in Web3, are there any technical cooperation chances between ChainIDE and Web3Go? And so that users can get on-chain data more easily. We can start with Ali actually for this question, if you're keen. Ali?
Yeah, sure. Actually, we are always happy to work with other friends in Web3 is to introduce something really useful, amazing, and I think it is very good. We have collaborated with many other companies also as a technical partner. And yes, I think there are high chances for cooperation between ChainIDE and Web3Go. As I mentioned earlier, currently we don't like deal with the historical data. And in the future, I think users can create DApps, deploy them to the blockchain using ChainIDE, and then we can integrate Web3Go and ChainIDE together. And so users can analyze their projects as well as some other projects in the space. So I believe we can improve things together.
Ali and Minchi?
Right, so I would just say like as far as I know of the ChainIDE, I used to use the ChainIDE too, right? When we do the smart contract building, basically most common two interface I use, one of them is Remix, the other is perhaps the ChainIDE, right? So for me personally, it's more like a very fancy developer tools to use because and smart contract is one of the important building block of the chain in the blockchain, right? And with time passes by, and this actually I'm combined with the tendency of the current blockchain industry, right? So in the past, if you are engineering, you can do the coding, you can do the smart contract. We feel you're awesome, you're senior smart blockchain developer. And recently, you will feel it's not true anymore. At least there's a tendency it's not becoming true. If you only know how to do the solidity, only know how to write the smart contract, you may be a little bit easy to be picked up by the other people, from the traditional Web2 industry. The reason I say so is, as you can see, currently we have more cutting edge topics, like the ZK roll up. You need to know some crypto knowledge. You need to know something about database. You need to, it's just the fields related to the Web3 industry is more and more, and have a tendency to become a diversity stuff. And as I develop tools, I always thinking for instance, we can display a lot of stuff, right? We when we entering the address from the test net to do the coding, maybe we can show up some other information regarding how many times the contract have deployed. Maybe from test perspective, you have this contract been deployed, have this address been used as a test net, as the test account on other test net, stuff like that. It's a general stuff, sometimes, it's no offense, I used to want my projects not being able to observed by other people with the relation. If I have developing some projects, I just didn't want to, when I have another project, I don't want them others to know they are that close to each other, and in order to do that, I need to know that's the contract I use to test to deploy as thorough relation. Sometimes it's so easy to forget in my MetaMask because keeping the password and managing the account is so annoying that even for both developer and investor. And so, yeah, right? Are we having the time?
Yeah, I
That's the
totally
time
agree
now.
with that. That's why I sent the emoji.
So we can have from many dimensions. We can have the method to just give us the hint or some kind of way to notice such stuff. It can be from very different dimension, and I think the developer dimension is one of the fascinating way. It's just easy to integrate and very useful, I would say. Yeah.
I think that's really true. Like everyone in Web3, no matter like what you are doing in Web2, like you gotta know most of everything. Like, yeah. So, thank you, Minchi. And next, what's ChainIDE and Web3Go building now? And are there benefits for users when your new feature come out? All right, maybe we can go to Ali first and explain the new systems.
We at ChainIDE always welcome user feedback and try to improve user experience. Recently, we have introduced some plugins such as Flattener plugin and some sandboxes like Hardhat, Ganache, Truffle. So users don't have to install all these locally on their system. Some other IDEs like Remix, if you use that, so you will have to set up a local environment and you cannot achieve each and everything only within the ID. So what ChainIDE recently is doing, like you can achieve each and everything only within the ID. You don't need to leave the ID to develop your D app. Like each and everything is already installed. We have integrated the sandboxes and we have integrated the plugins, like the useful plugins that are needed for the DApp development. So users can verify their smart contracts within the ChainIDE. They don't need to leave ChainIDE. They can create Flattener file for getting their smart contract verified, and they can use React like web frameworks only within the ChainIDE with the help of npm. We have set up each and everything within the ChainIDE. This is one aspect we are working or we have worked on. The other thing is we are working on ChainIDE education. We are working on some easy to understand a kind of learning resources for newbies as well as experts in the blockchain space. So we are currently working on these two things. And of course, there are many benefits for the users. After like chain ID education is released, we will make some systems like this, like level based achievements. So we will have some prizes for the users of chain ID education. And I think chain ID is already free and full of features. I believe there is no IDE at present time which can be compared with chain ID.
Thank you, Ali. And next, Minchi.
All right. I think I kind of actually mentioned in the previous question. Like, we're going to have. Okay, so the summary is we're going to open our stream-based database, everything to the public, and people are welcome to generate a layer and a layer and a layer of the database based on it recursively, whatever the way they want. So this is going to be the new features incoming. All right. So we're going to release in the next couple of months. And so the right now what we're building is perfect such stuff. As you can imagine, like if we allow people to do this without limitation, such process can be very cost storage. When I say cost storage, I didn't mean gas fee or such stuff. I mean the real data storage. And we need to figure out a way to stop user from doing that, but not hurt people's, good actual usage. And we also need to stabilize the way of the database deploying. We always need to, make sure every single database generated by such way is accurate and keep sync. And there's also kind of the crypto knowledge involving there. When the database, they said in design, we're going to introduce more if we have once we release the white paper. But this is more crypto knowledge stuff. We try to perfecting it right now, and yes, there's still a lot of the stuff to do, and we are just looking forward. While we doing developing, we're looking forward the feedback of the community, how these products being tested out. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And so good luck to Web3Go and also ChainIDE for the new features that's coming out. And last but not least, we've got our last question. So how will the Web3 data and developer tools develop in the future? Let's start with Minchi, please. So, yeah.
All right. So, let's say in this way, like this is actually kind of I always have disagreement with other people, right? So it's not unusual that I'm wrong. I always feel right now that embrace the traditional data framework might be the right solution for the blockchain industry to do so, instead of with system on the decentralized, and the stuff. When I see that, I mean data industry specifically. If you want to do data analyzing based on the blockchain data, it's just very hard for me to figure out the architecture, do it without the cost of the, as we have already observed that how slow and low efficient, if we doing it through the pure blockchain architecture, right? So I kind of feel, I hope people will become in favor of me that how to thinking of how to twist it our current tool, make it doable and available in the traditional Web2 world. More and more people try it. Also from the traditional Web2 way, I hope people engineering at that side trying it, embracing the blockchain industry technology. This is what I'm hoping in the future going to happen. And for more specific of development tools, I think the way of the stuff happening will not changing too much. Like we still having those kind of API, or I'm very satisfied with the current what either and other blockchains doing. We are very steadily developing multi-chain development like the ZK rollup stuff. I think this is the right way to do the scalability at the from very at least this is so far the best architecture I can thinking of in order to improve the scalability, right? So yeah, that's what going to be my expectation regarding the future. And maybe I see something more like so we have those kind of AI and all those kind of exciting things in traditional Web2 now, right? And people are saying that okay, AI is not compatible to blockchain. Basically, blockchain is decentralized and slow. AI need to be centralized, concentrated, and efficient. And black box. And I kind of feel different regarding this kind of opinion. In one way or another, the world is limited by the calculation resource that's capable to human being, right? So AI, you need to run the AI mode, you need a lot of the calculation power. But for the blockchain, it's the same thing. Like if you dig into I said why blockchain data is so challenging. Like I mentioned, the problem is we didn't have enough calculation to do so. It's so slow because the way it's designed is less efficient. But if you have a bump regarding your calculation power, you still have the ability to extend your business coverage to many fields. Like maybe you cannot do AI stuff, but you can increase your coverage. At least you can see either run right. Blockchain like either run right now can do a lot of stuff, right? We can do the Shopee tracking. Maybe we cannot do a stock exchanging real time ticket updating, but we already can do a lot of the stuff, right? So I think that in the end it will become what's the calculation power in this world, and this is a problem troubling both AI and blockchain. And so I think somehow maybe in the future, in the end, all technology is just become a single problem. How do we improve our society's ability to do the calculation, right? So in the end, whatever the data fields we mentioned, I think it's the same way, right? We need to fundamentally improving our society ability. Maybe I'm not sure this terminology is the correct way to say. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Minchi. I think that's a very bright. You have a very bright side of what's going to happen in the future for Web3 and also for Web3 data. So hope everything goes well. And next, Ali, maybe you can talk about the development future.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Wang, and I see like more and more people are joining these analytics tools. Recently, I was seeing like to calculate the revenues of recently like OpenSea and Blur is very hot. So people are comparing the revenue of OpenSea and Blur. And I think in the future, for now, we see they use SQL to query from the tables. But in the future, I think maybe there will be more languages or more like higher usability, like Python or some other programming languages. So more and more users can query historical data and some artificial intelligence algorithms like machine learning and deep learning to predict some insights. I think these kind of tools will be in the future and to make it more usable. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ali. And we have just finished our part 2, our AMA session. If the audience down here wants to come and ask any of the guests any questions to the guests, you guys can come up. Okay, we've already got one from He's Connecting. Feel free to come up if you guys want to chat with the guests. So yep, Justin, the mic is yours.
Hello, can you hear me? Can I ask my question?
Sure.
Okay, so my question is, what are our plan in the near future? Do you have any strategy to attract a new investor to your platform and keep them long time?
Is this question to ChainIDE or Web3Go?
Web3Go.
All right, Minchi.
Sorry, can you repeat your question? I just heard the first part. Like,
my question is, what are your plan in the near future? Do you have any strategy to attract a new investor to your platform and keep them long time?
keep them long.
Keep them long time.
You mean do we want to making our service being free in the long run?
Yes.
Okay, so at the first we're going to starting with a free trial because we encourage every people to do the the developing and test our those recursive developing stuff. But these stuff actually cost a lot of the service service fees. When I say service fees, I mean like traditional terminology service fees. So it's not possible for us to make it free to everyone. The most possible way we're going to figure out the maybe tokenomic, maybe the fixed amount, like the traditional Web2 company do. But long run, it's not going to be possible for free. Yeah, it's just not. It's just the service we provide is not zero cost. Sorry for that if people expecting this, but feel free to try at least in the next maybe I will say half year to 1 year at least will be free for that long. Yeah, that's my expectation.
All right, thank you, Minchi, and thank you, Justin. Are there anyone else that wants to come up? Maybe we can wait maybe just 10 seconds, and then if no, we're gonna end the session. Okay, there's no one that's gonna come up for part 3. So I think we can just end here now for today's AMA with Web3Go and ChainIDE on the topic of how data affects the developers and the users. Yeah, thank you guys coming, and thank you Ali and thank you Minchi for coming too.
Thank you. Yeah, if any user have any question, they can ask on our media channels on Twitter, later Discord. We are always there. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.